Hi, welcome to the Spiritual Converse. This is your host, EJ, speaking once again. So, I know I didn't run to this YouTube right away to speak on the obvious of what has happened in recent events surrounding Mr. Charlie Kirk and world news, things that are happening around the world and stuff like that. But as far as spiritually speaking, um, the the things that are happening are to capture your attention somehow. So spiritually speaking, I would say, this is where they force you to make a choice, to make the choices that affect you spiritually. And the reason why I say that is because if it affects you spiritually, then physically you are going to act out, or you're going to do exactly as they would expect you to do, or you would do the opposite if you're open-minded. Or I wouldn't say open-minded, I would say more of, if you were conscious, you would do the exact opposite of what they want you to do. So basically, they see Mr. Kirk as a martyr, right? A person who was like a messenger. Now, in my belief, I believe that anybody that's coming with good intentions, right? Because I might as well say it like that. If anybody who comes with good intentions and they're speaking on a message, and this message impacts thousands upon thousands of people, if it impacts the world, even greater, but if it impacts a certain amount of people, then I feel that maybe that person was a messenger from the creator, from a higher source. And it makes people wonder whether this was something that was supposed to happen, or if it was something that was to open us up to what's to come, right? Otherwise than that, the way I see it as the silver lining to the events that have led up to this point, right? And the reason why I say that is because, there should be a reason why this event had to take place, and for the overwhelming amount of people to gather and show love, something that people haven't seen in a while, especially here in America. We've come together in times of in cataclysmic times, I should say, or times of destruction and some form of chaos, because I wouldn't say it was total chaos, but in some form of chaos, with events that pulled people together and show compassion and all of that. But then there'll be something to change the narrative, and then it's back to, oh, I don't trust this person, or oh, I don't like their views, or oh, this is what's wrong, that's wrong. They start nitpicking. And whether the thing is this something that is being controlled, and why? Is it over for our spirit? Because again, I have to speak on what I speak about in my channel. I could incorporate a lot of things with spirit, but at the end of the day, how does it affect the spirit? How does it affect the person and what they put forth in their everyday lives after it's done its effect, Another thing, we had a solar eclipse, right? We got a new moon in Libra, right? Now we're going into Libra season. So this focuses from the Virgo to the Libra. Virgo is more analytical, observant, knowing, cautious and careful about the next move. But then when you get Libra, it's more about building relationships or understanding relationships, right? And having compassion and being in tune, using the intuition a little more. So this is the thing of Libra and exactly what it is that this sign usually incorporates. Because, Libra, they have the justice scales, right? And so this is where the judgment of what is just and what is unjust, right? And so so far we've seen there've been unjust stuff that been happening, and now people are coming together to try to make things just, right? To make things right or whatever. And, hopefully seek or sort out justice in the name of God, right? Almighty. And so all of a sudden there's been like a sort of a spiritual kind of change. People been mentioning Jesus Christ. Like, I've been seeing that a lot in the media, something that we haven't seen in a long time, where they're mentioning Jesus, where they're mentioning the Bible and, verses from the Bible and stuff like that. So, not saying that we reverted back to old times, but what I'm saying is it's showing like culture to tradition, or even saying that they're teaching morals again, which is amazing. I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's really a good thing. If you think about it, it's a good thing. But this is what is coming forth for all to see. I wouldn't even say the youth. They always trying to target the youth to try to change their minds and stuff like that, and convince them that this is right or that is right. And it's like, listen, if they should know or be taught morals, right? They should be taught that first before anything, but since they over here, always trying to get to the young minds, to be able to convince them or to get them to do as they will, they go in and they will program them. And this phone stuff, not just the phone, but like any screen type of stuff, all of that is programming. Like right now, even with me speaking, that's kind of a programming, in so to speak, but it's a programming. Regardless of what, even when I watch something, I'm watching a program. What I take from it is what I take from it. Whatever you take from this is what you take from it. But let's be clear about the message. The message is that in order for us to level up soul consciously, right? We must be aligned or in tune with what is right for the soul. This is where that will stuff comes in with the Bible and stuff, or, even if it wasn't on some religious stuff, this is where your will comes in. What is right for the soul? What is right for you as the individual? Because what you do is like a ripple effect, and it affects the environment around you, usually. You know, like they say 9 times out of 10. Well, 9 times out of 10, it'll usually affect you. If it's not, then you would influence someone. This is why social media is like kind of controversial now, because influence is what makes people do things, say things. You know, if you have enough people listening to you, they're going to believe you. There's going to be somebody out there that's going to say, wait a minute, this makes sense. Click. And they'll take that and run with that. That's just the way things are, I guess, as of late, you know, and it's pretty scary. Pretty scary. But you know, this is the kind of energy that's being put out right now, with this solar eclipse that happened on the 21st, then the new moon now 22nd, going from one sign to entering into another sign, as I explained before, and this is what we're having now. So going forward, right, I would say that, you know, this is a time where people must come together and talk about the things that need to be questioned. Talk about the stuff that is uncomfortable to talk about, so that it could be out in the open, agree to disagree, you know, or whatever, and have intelligent conversations like how Charlie Kirk was trying to move, you know. I mean, I understand why people assumed or, you know, had felt the way they felt with their beliefs and stuff like that. But I mean, everyone has an opinion, you know. But if you get offended by what they're saying, you don't have to join in the conversation, and you definitely don't have to resort to violence to get your message across, you know. But that's all I have to say about that. But now, as a nation, right? As a nation, I wonder if this event that happened, right, if this is going to make people level up consciously. Was this the push to level up consciously? Because whatever it was, it had an opposite reaction, right? I mean, that's what I've seen on the media, in the comments, and people commenting, and it's like it gave a different reaction. What they thought would divide them actually united them more, which is what God would have wanted. The Creator, whoever, you know, what God would have wanted. So is it heaven sent? Could be. Could be. But in Libra season, right? In Libra season, you get some prophetic dreams. They usually say when you enter this season, usually have dreams, you know, people, or because, you know, time is changing. Well, here in the West it's fall, right? So times change, you sleep more, you're gonna dream more. You might end up having dreams, and these dreams become kind of prophetic with it, sending messages. So, you know, spirit realm would definitely be sending these messages in your dreams. Because they usually say whatever you thought of consciously before you went to bed might replay in your dreams. I'm not a doctor, I'm just saying. But if that's not the case, then it is a message. If you remember it when you wake up, and that certain thing was significant, then that was a message. And that's what I take whenever I have something like that of a dream and it stood out more than anything else in the dream. I know that that was a message, you know? And things like that is what pushes the soul to either change something or do something, to act on something, you know. So these are things that you take into consideration. Write it down as soon as you wake up so you don't forget about it, and go look it up. Because usually around that Libra season or Libra time, this is where those kinds of things would be happening, the prophetic dreams. So pay attention more to your dreams. All right? Your intuition gets heightened. Pay attention to that gut feeling. If it's saying something ain't right, probably isn't. Listen to it. If you have a good feeling behind it and your gut is saying, oh no, this is, then maybe it is. Just investigate, you know. Always be aware. I wouldn't say cautious, because then that's me telling you, oh yeah, the fear, believe in the fear. No, just be aware. Be aware of everything, your surroundings, even the stuff that's happening inside, the feelings and all of that. Always be aware. But you know, usually this with the Mabon season, for those that are, you know, pagans, this is Mabon season. They go and they cleanse their homes. They take the cinnamon and all that other herbal stuff. They start doing their simmer pots, you know, get their orange or yellow candles, and, you know, ask for prosperity and all that other stuff and abundance. You know, this is around that time to do that, because what's coming is the fall, right? Where the leaves start dropping from the trees. They turn all pretty colors. This is a perfect time to take pictures, you know. Weather starts changing. Wearing your jackets and stuff like that. It's a chillax time, you know, before the winter gets here. So, but, you know, I just noticed that with everything that's going on, people, you know, are wondering whether it's a spiritual war or not. I say take it with a grain of salt and see through. If it is a spiritual war, right? If it is, then you would want to level up yourself behind all of this. That would be the smarter thing to do, right? But if it's not about that, and it's just about expressions and feelings, then it's time to teach people how to control their emotions. Because stuff like that happens, that has to do with a person that's not in alignment spiritually. So now I would say the warning would be, you know, always be cautious of those that don't seem aligned with themselves. If they seem off, ask them, are you okay? Is everything all right? Because you never know what somebody's going through in their life. You don't know the type of stuff that goes on with them. They only tell you what they want you to know. You got people that will smile and you don't even know that they want to kill themselves the next day type stuff. You know? I'm just saying, like, always ask them, are they okay? Always ask if they need help, or do they want to seek help, and direct them to a place where they can go, where you don't have to take on their burden, because you don't want that to mess you up energetically as well, right? So you take them to a place where a professional can deal with them. So you don't want to give them advice and then they go and they say, well, that person said that. They said that I can do this. No. No, you need to go see a professional. Address what's going on, And if you are one of those people, then you need to go take yourself. Because there's too much of that going on, you know what I mean? And we're adults. We should be more responsible for ourselves in that sense. Everybody takes it negatively. Oh, why do I need to speak to a therapist? And because you need to. Let all those emotions go. You're holding on to too much. Gotta let them go. It's not good for the soul. Gotta get adequate rest, gotta eat right, gotta take care of yourself. A lot of people neglect themselves. Oh, I do it for the money, or I do this. No. What happened to you? What happened to getting back to you and doing for you? Who's going to take care of you? If it's not you, who's going to take care of you? So, but I'm starting to see a turnaround with, just people, society in general. In a sense, in a sense, I would say. I do see, like, people actually using common sense and thinking ahead, which is a good thing. That's, at least it shows a positive direction. And that's what we want. That's all we aim for, is for positive direction. But I would say this, and all in all, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and, be selective in who you are helping, and always research whatever it is. Whatever it is that come across your mind, research it. Dig deeper. There's always a meaning to everything, That's what you need to do. That's what I do. A lot of times I'm just, okay, I may something captured my attention, and then I'm like, okay, let me see what this is about. And then I'm like, okay, I could see something that counters that, and I'll read that too, just to get perspective on both sides. Any links that they offer, suggest, look into those too. I do that all the time. It's good to see everything from all points of view, and then decide for yourselves what you feel spiritually, what you feel is right. Because I feel like the nation went through that, in the past 2 weeks. It's what the nation was facing. Or you could say the world, in a sense. Where they were like, how does this resonate with me? In my personal journey, in my day-to-day life, how does it resonate with me? Because it might not relate to you at all. There's some people that be like, listen, I don't give a shit about that. Like, I don't give a shit about it. And then there's some people that be like, no, it does affect me, it affects this, it affects that. Like, got those that care too much, But what I'm saying is, in a healthy sense, is to ask yourself, how does this resonate? What does it do for me? If it does nothing, then I should not think about it any further. You know, if it does, then what other options do I have? You know, thinking on that type of thoughts, and you know, having those healthy mindsets. But yeah, but I love talking to you guys. It was good catching up. I was just trying to sit back and see what other stuff would happen, but again, it's been an eye-opener these past 2 weeks. And I know it ain't, you know, I know that the future is ever changing, so you know, you never know what can come, but at the same senses, you always ask yourself, how does it resonate with me? How does this affect me so consciously? Or what can I do to nourish myself so consciously? Always ask that to yourself, no matter what. Good night. Enjoy your Libra season. And just be aware of your surroundings at all times, even with yourself, your inner feelings. Okay? All right, guys, take it easy. And until the next video, stay fly.